Yeah, that was bad. The horrible smell. Hey guys, it's Michelle. I'm back with video number 2. Today I'm going to be telling you guys stories about myself when I was younger. I was originally supposed to do this with my mom, but she's uncomfortable being on camera, so I figured I'd just tell them myself since I've heard them for all my life. They're really embarrassing. Some of them are gross, but all of them are just very, very embarrassing. I don't think really anybody knows these stories about myself, but I think I've told a few people. Besides the point. Anyway, so yeah, let's get into the tea spilling, and yeah, I'm kind of excited about this, kind of not, because they're all really embarrassing, but you know, who cares? Story number 1. I was about, I think I was still a baby. I was like 2 years old or so. And my mom was working from home. She worked downstairs in her office. And I was upstairs and I was taking a nap in my crib. So she leaves the door open just to hear if I'm crying or if I'm ready to get up. And so she was working, and I started like giggling and like, you know, playing around, and she could hear me. So she decided just to let me like hang out there and, you know, play with my, you know, toys in the crib or whatever. And so it was up like a half hour went by, and she went up to my room and she kind of like creaked open the door, and it just like hit her in the face. The smell, the horrible, just the horrible smell of poop. I had pooped my diaper, and you know, instead of, you know, crying about it and being like a regular child, I decided to take it off and play with it. I played with my own poop. Not only did I play with it, but I put it on my face like war paint. Like I was getting ready for battle. To battle who? I don't know. I put it on the rungs of my crib. I put it on the walls of my crib. I put it on the walls outside of my crib. How did I get there? I don't know. So my mom, seeing this, she's like, "Oh my God." And I see my mom, and I'm just like, "Mom!" And I'm so happy to see you. And so she's just like, "Oh my God, like, what the heck?" And so she picks me up, and she's like this. She's like, "Don't touch me." And I'm just like, "Mom, like, Mom, give me a hug. I love you so much." And she's astounded. She just looks at the area in front of my crib, and she's like in the crib, and she's seeing all this poop everywhere. And I'm just like the happiest baby in the world, you know, hugging my mom, and my mom is just like, "Oh my God, like, what have you done?" So she puts me in the bathtub, cleans me up, and then she has to clean my poop. I've heard that story like so many times, and it's a very simple story, but it involves a lot of poop, and it involves me playing with my poop, and I never thought I would be known as the girl that played with her poop when she was a baby. Okay, I've never been known to be the girl that plays with her poop, but now I'm gonna be, so that's awesome, right? Yes. Alright, so story number 2. Wait, okay. Alright, so story number 2. I was about 4 years old, my mom says, and I don't really remember this at all, but it was like a random night, and I guess I was just really bored, and so I decided to cut my hair. And at this time, I had like kind of shorter hair. It was like right here on me. And but I didn't want to like cut my hair, like actually like cut it with scissors. I decided to go into my bathroom and take a razor that my older sister used on her legs and, other places, and I decided to shave my head. I don't really know what I was thinking. Anyway, so it was like this area of my hair. It was like this amount of hair. Like I cut it off. No, I shaved it off. And it was like to the scalp. And so like I could still like put down my hair and it would be hidden. So like that nobody knew that it happened. And so that's what I did for like a few weeks. And then I went to gymnastics. I was enrolled in gymnastics as a little girl, and I had to put my hair up because it was freaking hot in there. So my mom is watching me, and she notices something is off about my head and with my hair. And so on the car ride home, we're like 5 seconds away from my house, and she's like, Michelle, what did you do to your hair? And I'm just like, nothing. Like, just, nothing. And she's like, okay. And so, like, we drive, like, a few minutes. And she's looking at me. Like, I can see her in my peripherals. And she's looking at me, like, really weird. And she's, like, trying to, like, study my head. And she was like, Michelle, what did you do to your hair? And I was like, nothing. Nothing. I didn't do anything. And so this goes on, like, back and forth for a while. She's like, Michelle, what did you do to your hair? And I'm like, nothing. And then the last time, like, right before we pull into my driveway, she's like, Michelle, what did you do to your hair? And I'm like, nothing. And I get an attitude. I had, like, a huge attitude problem when I was younger. Like, I got it from my older siblings, and, I was just a problem child. I was just a problem child when it came to attitude. So, we get out of my car, and she puts me in front of my stepfather. And my stepfather doesn't even have to say anything. He's like, Michelle, what did you do to your hair? And I'm just like, oh my gosh, nothing. Oh my gosh, nothing. And so my parents are just, chuckling at this point because they're not idiots. I was an idiot at 4 years old. And so my mom picks me up and she brings me into the bathroom and she sets me in front of the mirror and she's like, Michelle, what did you do to your hair? And I'm just like, nothing. Like, this was a huge problem, a huge attitude problem. And I was like, nothing, Mom. And so she is just like so distraught and she's like, okay, we're going to the doctors. We're going to the emergency room. Something is wrong. Your hair is falling out. And I'm like, oh my God, oh my God. And so, I'm like, okay, I cut it. Okay, I shaved it. And my mom's like, I know. God, it didn't grow back like very even either. So like when I went to the hairdressers, like they were just like, why did you do that? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, that's so embarrassing. Like, cutting my hair. Who uses a used razor on their own scalp? Like, that's so gross. What was I thinking? I don't know. Who knows? I'm telling you, I was a problem child from the start when I was a baby until 4. Like, that's... I don't even know. Story number 3. I was in 2nd grade, and I clearly remember this like it was yesterday. It's not really an embarrassing story, but it's just annoying. It had annoying circumstances. So I was in 2nd grade, and I like to play on the monkey bars and show off because I was an idiot. And so I was playing on the monkey bars, and I decided to skip, the first 3 bars. And I had been doing this for a while. And then so I wanted to test myself and, be cool in front of all the other students and skip 4 monkey bars. So I did it for the first time and I got it and I was like, wow, like that's awesome. So I tried to do it again and I fell. and I broke my arm. My right arm, I broke it. Yeah, it was really bad. And I got up and I was like fine. Like my arm didn't hurt or anything. And then someone saw and they're like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, like I'm fine. Like I'm good." And so I walk over to someone else and they're like, you just fall, like you just fell. Like, you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And then I look at my arm and it's broken. It's like a hill. Like a hill. Like a hill. And it was bad. And so I'm like, "Oh my God." And so now I feel the pain. Now I'm like, "Wow, this hurts. Like, this hurts so bad." And so I run to the teacher and I'm like, "Look at my arm." And she's like, "Oh my God." And, so there's like 5 minutes left of recess left. And she's like, "Okay, like, hold on until recess ends and, we'll get you to the nurse." And I'm just like, "Okay." And I'm like crying. Like, I'm like in pain. And I broke my arm. And so I get to the emergency room, they fix it, whatever. So the day after I get to school, or no, it wasn't the day after. It was like a few days after because I wasn't going to go to school after I broke my arm. But it was like a few days after. And the monkey bars, like, I think it was like a lot of the playground was closed because of the fact that I, was an idiot and broke my arm. And I felt so bad. Like, I kept thinking, like, "Oh my God, like, the playground is closed because of me." And it was because of me, because I was an idiot and decided to skip, 4 bars on the monkey bars and, be a queen and try and slay everyone's lives. Like, no. I felt so bad. And I felt really embarrassed because, like, nobody could have fun because of me. And I felt like an idiot. That's embarrassing. That's horrible. So, yeah. Yay. Yay. All right, this is the final story. Story number 4. This was when I was in 6th grade, and it was in math class. So I've always been really bad at math. We have a love-hate relationship. When I get it, I'm like, hell yeah, I got it, and I'm good. But when I don't get it, which is most of the time, I hate math. So yeah, I hate math most of the time. So I was in 6th grade, and I didn't really care for my math teacher. I mean, she was nice, but, I just hated math so much, I think it just tainted her, the wrong way for me. I don't know. Who cares anyway? But, so we had this, policy where if you failed a test or failed any homework, you had to go home and get it signed from your parents just to make sure that they knew, like, where your grades were at and, like, if you failed. So I had gotten a lot of fails from that class, and because of that, I couldn't really, like, do anything else on the weekends because I was grounded. And, well, not grounded, but, like, I got in trouble, and I just didn't like it. I don't like getting in trouble. And so, yeah, I forged my mother's signature in 6th grade. And my mom found out. So how she found out, or how the teacher found out, was, I forged my mom's signature, but I went over it with a pencil, a black pen, and then a blue pen. I wasn't the most smartest, kid ever. So obviously my teacher, found out. And, she brings me outside and she's like, "Who signed this?" And I was like, "My mom." And she was like, "Your mom signed this." And I was like, "Yeah." And she was like, "With 3 different writing utensils?" And I was like, oh snap. That was the biggest mistake. I was like, why would someone write their signature with 3 different utensils? Think, Michelle. So she was like, "This is forging, right?" And I was like, oh crap, that sounds bad. And so she was like, I'm gonna be calling your mother tonight. And I was like, oh no, like I'm gonna get in so much trouble. And so I went home, and my parents were outside, and a call came. It was like, I don't know, maybe like 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and it was my teacher. So she left a message, and I deleted it. Yeah, that was bad. So when my mom didn't, get to talk to my teacher, and she was like really worried, like, oh my god, like I'm not gonna get to scold out Michelle, like her mother needs to know about this. So she comes up to me the next day and she's like, Michelle, like your mom didn't call me back or anything. And I was like, oh, like I didn't even know you called. I'm a liar. And so she calls again the next day, and this time I didn't get to intercept it. So she finds out everything. And she found out that I deleted the message too, because I mean, my mom can do math, She knows things. She's not an idiot. So, yeah. I am such a horrible child. That's not really embarrassing either, but I think it's embarrassing now because, what was I thinking? Like, I'm not smart at all. Well, there you have it, guys. I think the moral of these stories is don't lie. Um, you know, don't forge someone's signature. Study for your math quizzes. Study for any, quiz that you have. If you need help, ask for help. If you want to do something, maybe ask permission before, unless like you're of age. I mean, at all of these ages, I was, not, able to decide for myself really. And, you can show off, like you can be a boss, but don't do anything that would really, possibly kill you. Oh, and also, don't play with your poop. That's a big one. So I guess these stories, like, they're embarrassing, but they're mostly exhibit me being a problem child. So, there you go. They're embarrassing to me. Like, seriously, playing with my poop, like, that's embarrassing, but I think it's funny, kind of, because I was a baby, and, I mean, that's kind of cute. But me forging my mom's signature and not having the brains to kind of sign it with one pen. I mean, one pen, but one colored pen. And then kind of lying, like, that's a really bad thing to do. Gosh, I caused a lot of problems for my parents, but they still love me, which is a blessing. All right, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, all the embarrassing stories and, having the tea being spilt. And yeah, I will see you in my next